so we should go and move pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a short agenda too.
Streaming started 7 o'clock.
This says amended, but it got longer, not shorter. Look at that.
A couple things were added. We're mic'd up, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Hello, Dave.
Evening, gentlemen.
Get started. Ask everybody to join in the pledge to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Since I think everybody here knows the announcements by word, I think we can just dispense with the normal announcements. We have excused our solicitor, and Wendy is with us by YouTube. I guess we should go through introductions just in case somebody joins us by YouTube, so we'll do self-introductions.
Dave Bruce.
Jeff Rogers.
Art Rutledge.
Bob Brown.
Jeff Reynolds.
You should speak closer to that.
I just pulled it closer. Okay. There's only one person to listen, but if you can't hear us, let
Hi
us
out
know. All right. Okay, the first item of business would be approval of the minutes from our last meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the June 5th meetings. Any questions? Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We've approved those. We'll move to the treasurer's report. Interesting to note, I mentioned to Todd that even pavilion rentals are starting to bring in a little bit of money with our new pavilions. I think they were $225 last month and close to that the month before. So interesting. And it was interesting, we had 5 trees taken down. Some of them are pretty big trees. Total of $2,400. That's a pretty doggone good price. They're the ones at the corner of Miller Park, right at Strawberry Road.
Who's the vendor for that?
He was a local contractor,
Oh.
just out of, I think he was in northern Maryland, just across the line.
They're right down off, below New Freedom.
But I think we were very fortunate to get that kind of a price. Okay. Any questions anybody has of the treasurer's report? Any comments, Todd, you have?
The only thing I want to mention, and we didn't get our bill for it yet, we're going to be getting another one anyway. Glenrock Sewer, that's in the township, but it goes to Glenrock Sewer Authority. I did not know, and I don't know if anyone else ever did, because there was never any fund created for it. So we need to do a little research, because what happened, there was a lateral collapse that was out in the street. And that is not the property owner's responsibility. It's the sewer authority or the townships. And the sewer authority said it's not in their agreement. So we had to take care of getting that repaired. So we're going to do a little research on that, just to compare or confirm that.
Yeah.
Pull the agreement and everything with Glenrock Sewer Authority, and if that's the case, we're probably going to have to take a look at having some kind of periodic surcharge to the customers down there to build up a fund for repairs to the system that's out in the main collection system. Because otherwise, the general fund would be helping pay for their sewer collection system. So, but that's something I should have some answers for you next month.
Okay. Yeah. So we may have to look at it as a surcharge. Okay. Anything else? If not, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the June 2024 Treasurer's Report.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. We shall vote.
Aye.
Got 2 of you. Go ahead. Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We've approved the treasurer's report. You have in front of you the actual versus budget for half the year. I didn't see anything in there that was at all alarming. pretty much online with what was submitted for the budget. Todd, I don't think there's anything that was concerning
Yeah.
to you. Any questions anybody has? on the
I'm sorry, on budget versus actual?
Yep. No questions?
Nope.
All right. Well, unless Brad has anything to say, it's opening public comment. Good. Please.
Bob, I want to thank you for coming, helping at Carnival. If anybody else was there, I missed you. Going through the people's times afterwards, we had several, like 4 or 5 that put in over 80, 85 hours, documented hours that week. And the average for our members was 40 hours.
Wow.
And then this is the 3rd year in a row, we got people from the community, non-firefighters, to volunteer. And we had the most support with that.
Good.
So that's good. I'm starting some internal dialogue in our station, and I'm leaving here. I'm going to go talk to the borough because their meeting was originally tonight. Yours wasn't. And starting some internal dialogue. We're seeing some number shortages responding overnight, so we're going to start looking at that and trying to get creative with what we can do to boost those numbers.
That's people that show up for a call?
Yeah. It's getting difficult. So, and part of the problem is, looking at the numbers, like our top 10 responders in December, I asked everybody how old they were. The average age was 54. So we have 3 of them medically out right now.
Wow.
And, I mean, that takes a big toll. So we're going to look at that, get creative. There's things we can do with 911 to help, like, offset and maybe have New Freedom dispatch at the same time. But I'll get back to you on that. Not raising the warning flag yet, but just bringing it to your attention.
All right.
Yeah, and we're at like 270 calls so far this year.
270.
Yeah, about. So if there's no questions for me, I'm gonna go to the borough.
So
2
you're,
days, 1 night.
so you're seeing call and a half a day or something like that?
Yeah.
Any
Appreciate
questions?
you, Brad. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate what everybody there does and hope they know that.
And we won't know how Carnival did for another
All right.
probably 2 months.
Good crowds?
Yeah. Wednesday, there were threats of storms, so I think that kept people home. And then Saturday night, kind of the same thing. Well, Wednesday night we didn't get the storms. Saturday night we did. So we started cleaning up around 9 p.m., which I'm not complaining about, because it was a long day for those that did the parade. So that made it a little bit easier for them.
What time did you open most days?
About 5:30.
Okay.
Yeah. The food was, I mean, the guys are there working all day on the food. And then start serving 5:30, and then the stands open at 6.
And things seem to be going well between you and New Freedom on the housing, the chase truck?
Yeah, so during the carnival, we broke away. We had a meeting with all their medics, our admin side, and toured the station, asked them what they needed. We're gonna get them everything they need. They're just waiting on a couple little items,
Yeah.
and I think within the next week, they should be able to put it in service.
Well, we appreciate your cooperating with them to do that too.
It helps us out too.
It does, helps everybody. It's good to have that not far away from us. Right. Anybody have any questions for Brad?
The parade, is that going to be annual, or is this just a one-time for the 75th, or they're not, don't know yet?
So when we discussed it last year, coming into it, it was a one-time thing for the 75th.
But it was so amazing. You want to keep going.
So Brad's opinion is it's a lot of work for the guys for everybody the 6th day of a very long week. Like saying some of these people put in over 80 documented hours, and we have to be there early to get things ready for the parade. And this year, our Friday night fireworks may have caused a woods fire that we had to deal with Saturday morning also. So
Maybe.
had some people there at 6 a.m., 8 a.m., until we're done cleaning up at the end of the night, midnight, some are there after midnight Sunday. So it's a very difficult day. I'm encouraging other community organizations that liked it, like the Lions Club or something, that, hey, we can help out with it, but I'm not a fan of it being on our shoulders.
It seemed like it was, I mean, I was away in Ocean City, but saw it on Facebook, and it seemed like it was well attended by
Yeah,
participants.
and I don't think there were any issues I was aware of.
No, so it was a lot of participants.
Other than a loose chicken on Main Street.
Was there? Now, somebody dumped that there.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
we-
they're trying to
when
start
we-
some stuff.
When we
It's
came
been
down over
going
the
on.
hill toward Forest Avenue, there was a chicken running up along the gutter
During the parade?
during the parade, yes.
Well, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Appreciate all you do.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Stan, we're in public comment. I don't know if you want to address us? And then you can make it an early night if you want. If not, we'd be happy to have you stay.
Okay, thank you. As far as EMA goes, I'm Stan Walters. I'm the Emergency Management Coordinator for Shrewsbury Township, as well as the boroughs of Glen Rock, Railroad, New Freedom, and Shrewsbury. First, I want to thank Todd and the staff for getting the orders and organizing the radio company to come over and do some work in the EOC. Everything's great. We've got the county base station is connected and working. And we did receive the 10 by 20 shelter that we've been waiting for. And it's everything we want it to be. All the side panels and all that stuff is there. It's heavy, being that size. But we're looking forward to deploying it. Probably, well, not probably, I'm going to hope to do that for National Night Out. But I need to find out. Southern Regional Police usually organizes that. They move it around, so I need to find out from the chief where that's going to be this year, and you know what times they're going to do it, and see if that is something we can do. Because it takes several people to put that thing up. We started to expand it out and realized that probably the first time we should have more people than just two to do it. So until we get used to it. I did complete, and I know it seems like a long time away, a final report on the Glen Rock Schoolhouse apartment roof collapse incident, and I'm going to be sending that out to the municipalities. I wanted to run it through county and the PIO up there to make sure I had all my T's crossed and I's dotted on it. And then the next big project we've got is to update this year the emergency operations plan, which will come to you as a body to have a resolution to readopt the revised plan. So that'll be the next big thing there. So unless you have some other questions for me?
The
I'll
only
do
question I have is National Night Out.
Yes.
Is that put on by Southern Regional Police at one location, or does each municipality have something?
No, in the past, it's been something that the Southern Regional Police have organized, and they've picked a venue. It's been over in New Freedom before. It's been over in Stewartstown at their park. They're behind Geipels on Pleasant, going out of town. There's a little space there. They've done it. So, and I think it's early in August. I mean, it's called National Night Out because they're hoping that all communities will do it either the same night or in that month, because it's kind of staged that way because September is Preparedness Month. And so having National Night Out in August creates an awareness of, you know, community policing, but it kind of puts you on a trajectory for the next step in September, which is preparedness, you know, Emergency Preparedness Month, which puts an emphasis on, you know, people having 72-hour kits and having, you know, 4 or 5 weeks worth of food and generators and that kind of thing. So National Night Out is like a precursor to that, because it starts to put an emphasis on, paying attention to what's going on, see something, say something. That
And
kind
it
of thing.
basically, any community or organization can sponsor an event. I
Uh,
think doing that
Yes, so
is
National Night.
encouraged to.
Yeah, National Night Out has a website where you as an organization or an entity can go and say, yeah, we're gonna do it at this place on this date. There's materials, if you do it far enough in advance, you can order promotional stuff from them to have at your event. But Southern Regional, like I said, usually has kind of spearheaded that, and I've been to a couple of them. The fire department, I think a couple years ago, had the Jaws of Life over in the park at Stewartstown, and they ripped off the roof and the doors off of an old car to demo. But, people were interested in watching, what's involved with that, so. Yeah, it's a good,
I do know it's always the first Tuesday of August.
yeah, that's right, early in August, yeah. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah,
Anything
thanks.
else for Stan?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, we
Well-
appreciate the update.
Have a good meeting. Nobody's paying attention, so.
Thanks, Stan. All right, we move on. We have some ordinances and resolutions. The first resolution is just, I think, simply in support of this America 250 PA, as they call it, but this is, I guess, 250th anniversary of the country, and then York County is adding to that the 275th birthday of York County and 250th anniversary of the signing of the Articles of Confederation, which was done in York. So I learned something. I didn't know that. So we would just need a motion that we would,
So moved.
yeah, I think you changed the date on the
I did, yeah.
original.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had
Bob
the
just-
first, and it's actually, I changed it to the 10th.
Right, Bob just noticed it was the first too. Change that. Go ahead, Art.
I so moved, your motion, but I formally, make a motion to approve the, America 250 PA
Second.
resolution.
Have a motion, and you second?
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second to approve that resolution.
Took the breath, so I second.
We shall vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. 5 votes to the affirmative. We have approved resolution 2024-12. So this is, Todd, a resolution for,
Yeah, this is a formality.
this is the sewer planning module. is
Yeah,
that
it
right?
has to do with a 3-lot subdivision on Ingham Road. And we're required to do a resolution when there's an on-lot septic system because it amends our Act 537 plan for sewage management. So it's really a formality.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-13.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Questions? Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. 5 votes to the affirmative, so we have approved resolution 2024-13. And Todd, we have I guess an ordinance request here dealing with Glen Rock Borough.
Yeah, I received an email from Ann Merrick, who's the borough secretary in Glen Rock Borough. And they're requesting that the Board of Supervisors authorize them to prepare and advertise an ordinance on the township's behalf, even though it would be our ordinance. And what it does is because their park at the top of Hanover Street is actually located on the boundaries of Shrewsbury Township and located in Shrewsbury Township. So unless they have authority from Shrewsbury Township, their police cannot go in and enforce the rules and regulations because they're not authorized to police Shrewsbury Township. So what the ordinance would do would be the township granting that authority for them to enforce the law within the park confines of Glen Rock Borough's park. There would be no cost to the township. They would take care of the preparation, the advertisement, and so forth. So just would need authorization for me to let them know that they could move forward.
Okay, so formal authorization for that, and then we would be expecting this in August, I'm assuming?
I would anticipate that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve, ordinance request to Glen Rock Borough.
I'll second it.
So we have an ordinance, excuse me, we have a motion and a second to essentially allow Glen Rock to do police enforcement in land that is their park but on township property. Questions? We shall vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We have given Glen Rock that authority. And that moves us to subdivision and land development. This is a reapproval, Todd.
Correct. They're just waiting on outside agency, which is DEP, for their planning module for sewage. Otherwise, they're pretty much ready to go. So it's been 3 months since it was last approved, so the board would need to reapprove it. And I would ask that you do it for the full 90 days.
Another 3 months.
Yeah.
All right. Make a motion to approve the 3-month extension for Rockland Company LLC, final land development plan.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second that would reapprove for 90 days the Rockland Company's final land development plan. Any questions?
I have one question.
Go
Says
ahead.
it's manufacturing heavy, so I'm just kind of curious what actually is being
Fertilizer.
done. Oh, that's the fertilizer?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Other questions? You good? We shall vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We have reapproved the Rockland Company's final development plan. And then we have a amended New Haven Road Agreement. This would be conditional upon New Freedom Borough approving the same agreement without any changes whatsoever, right?
Correct. If you recall last month, the board did conditionally approve.
Right.
The New Freedom Borough Council had their meeting on Monday night. They were not comfortable with the language in paragraph number 2, which says borough maintenance. And the thing that concerned them, and I believe this was the only thing that they had a real concern with, had to do with where it says any and all costs of construction, maintenance, and repair. They wanted the word construction removed, which I fully understand. That makes sense, that if, the developer failed to follow through, that New Freedom Borough isn't on the hook for building the road. So I think that makes complete sense. And then they did make a few other modifications, which are in the red line copy that you have. I reviewed it. I think it all makes sense. We had our solicitor, in the absence of Tim Bupp, we had Steve McDonald review it as well as before the meeting, so he was comfortable with it as well.
And essentially, it remains the responsibility of New Freedom to maintain it until when, if and ever, that property is developed in the
That's
township.
correct, yes.
So we may never have to do anything to it, depending on what happens with development there.
And this is the road that connects to the development off of
Kirshner Road.
Kirschen. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Make a motion to approve the New Haven development plan.
Second that.
So we have,
Sorry, if I may amend.
yes,
Make a motion to approve the New Haven development plan contingent upon New Freedom Borough adopting the same ordinance in its entirety. Go, Jeff.
thank you.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second that would approve the New Haven Development Plan conditionally as motioned. Questions? We shall vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We have so approved. Leads us to reports. The first one is the manager's report. I don't know if Todd has anything to add.
The only thing, just quickly, is let you know that, of course, everyone is aware that the township had a truck and a trailer with our skid loader on it in the Shrewsbury Fireman's Parade. Then we also had a float that they put together, and it was kind of tied in a little bit with Shrewsbury Borough's tree lighting. So it was Santa and the reindeer on summer vacation. And I can share with you, this is the truck that was that was the lead truck for the township. And then this was our second one, Reindeer on Vacation, powered by Shrewsbury Township. Of course, they have the palm trees and the sand, and they had water, and they had boombox in the back playing the Christmas music during the whole parade.
Very nice.
This is a view from the back so you can see a little closer. So it was all township staff that put this together. It was all township staff that participated and walked in the float. We had staff that, well, Wendy was Mrs. Claus. Tracy in the maintenance department, he was Mr. Claus. And then we had Ryan and we had Megan dressed as elves, neighbor walking and tossing candy and whatever. And Tracy's daughter helped, and Mike McLean drove he drove this truck. Tyler drove the first truck, and Mike's two granddaughters also walked. So it was a good time. There should be, bring up, I think I have one there.
There we are. Mr. and Mrs. Claus, okay.
Yeah, there's Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Some
and there's
elves hiding behind the
Megan,
palm
there's-
trees.
Yeah, I can't see her too well, but there's Tracy's
We can't see it,
daughter.
we
so.
can't see it at all.
Yeah,
Those two are on, these three are off.
Oh, I had to turn mine on. It's the
Me
the
too.
button on the right, on the
Right
bottom.
oh, my
Oh,
apologies.
The other
all the way,
side,
all the way.
the other
Oh,
side.
Yeah,
That's right, this is right, isn't it?
Yeah, that right.
give it a second.
You just have to push it once.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
say-
just push it
You
once.
got it.
There.
Okay, that was
Yeah,
simple.
my apologies.
you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's nice, you can see it nice and close.
so, of course, they had Rudolph there in the front. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone had a good time.
They were near the
And,
back.
What's that?
They were near the back of the parade. I kept watching and watching.
Yeah,
and watching.
actually, they, for whatever reason, they wanted us to be the very end, I guess because of the tree lighting or something, I don't know. But as you can see here, the float won the Parade Committee's Choice Award.
It's a really big trophy, too.
Yeah, so it's a nice trophy, and, but they had fun doing it, so. And then the following Saturday, we did participate, in the New Freedom Parade. But
Same.
we did not have the float, because with vacation, we didn't have enough people. So Tracy drove one of the trucks, no trailer or anything, and then I believe Mike drove this truck with the skid loader and everything on it. So it was kind of nice. I was just a passenger in the front truck, and we had some township residents that were obviously present, because every once in a while we'd hear people cheering and clapping for Shrewsbury Township. So,
Good.
but yeah, it was a very nice time.
That was nice, yeah. Guys all did a good job. They should be commended for that, for sure. Phil, I might just mention for you that we did just, before we started this, approve the amended New Haven Road Agreement conditional upon New Freedom approving exactly verbatim what we just approved. They had some amendments to it. I don't know if you've seen them, but they all made sense, so.
Yeah, he's familiar with it, that was
Right.
to remove the construction.
So we did approve that.
I was at Newton Berlin,
Right, I knew
they
you were.
had reviewed it, Dave Jones, their attorney, hadn't seen it, and hadn't reviewed it before the meeting, so they wanted to have him do that, so I knew he was gonna get it over. And I did see one of the borough council members just now was at Shrewsbury Borough's meeting, and she was happy to hear it was corrected and there wasn't.
Right. So from our end, it's all approved. Just bring you up to date on that. We have no report from the solicitor. Are there any Were you done on yours, Todd?
Yeah, I'm good. Yep.
Are there any questions to Todd on his report? You have the code enforcement, sewage enforcement, zoning report. I don't know, Todd, if you have any comments on that?
Not other than 253 Oakwood Road. That's been on our list for quite a long time. While it's been vacant for several years now, it had been maintained, the lawn mowed and so forth. This year it was not. So we sent a violation notice. We didn't get any response, so we contracted with Almany Property Solutions. They're going to be mowing it every other week. And when we get all those bills in, then we'll file a lien against the property to
Right.
reimburse the township. So,
Okay.
and then the only other thing is the issues with handy dandy dumpster. There was a violation notice sent by the codes official as far as the building, the unsafe structure. The property owner met with the zoning officer, the building code official, myself, and he has decided that he's gonna tear that building down, and it's beyond repair. It's at the back of the property. And then as far as the dumpster storage with trash and everything in them, the zoning officer did file a civil complaint in district court, and that's before the court right now. I have not been by, but my understanding is as of yesterday or so, it looked pretty darn good down there.
There's still dumpsters all lined up, but you don't see anything out over top of them.
I was gonna say, they can have dumpsters, they just can't have trash in them.
Well, I don't know if there's trash in them.
Well, I can tell you as of yesterday, the zoning officer was down and did a site visit, so they did not have any yesterday.
What about the Jiffy John and the two metal containers sitting right next to the roadway in the entrance? That looks ridiculous.
I understand that, but there's nothing that,
Okay,
We
what's
can-
those metal containers standing there?
I don't know, one of the other issues I know that he did deal with down there is the front part of the building, is unadvertised, retail sale, I'll call it. They refer to it as an occasional yard sale, but it's set up as a storefront, and we received some confirmation from some folks who would know that it is actually being operated as a storefront. So that's a violation, which I know he addressed with them as well. So the
What
court
about the
hearing was,
signs?
pardon?
What about the signs?
The signs are now in compliance.
They are?
They
Two
have,
businesses,
he has to remove the face of the freestanding sign.
it's still there though.
I know, but
Oh.
he just told him yesterday. But all the other signs that were in the windows, advertising their business, had to be removed, and those have all been removed.
Okay.
There's one sign
Yeah.
affixed to the front of the building, which
Right.
now has their nameplate in it. That's permitted, because that was all grandfathered prior.
Right.
And then the freestanding sign, the only thing they have to do there, and they're going to be doing that, is removing the faceplate for the previous business. So, today was the scheduled hearing, but the zoning officer did ask Judge Sweeney for a 30-day continuance, because he wants to be sure that it remains in the same condition as it was yesterday. So, he is working on that.
Okay.
It's been a challenge, but getting there. And that is all that I have.
Any other questions? All right, you have the maintenance department report. I don't know if there are any questions on that. Todd, anything you want to add?
Are they done with Mount Airy for the time being?
They're done with Mount Airy this year, yes.
All right.
They just finished it up today.
Ah, okay. I would say it extended up further than I was expecting.
Yeah, it just goes up past Keeney.
And did they do both sides of the road? Because the last time I was there, the side going towards Shrewsbury was longer than the other one. Like, they didn't
Yeah.
do in front of Sussex Place the last time I had driven on it.
Yeah, they were up past there, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
And that's what, up to the next intersection, or
Yeah,
just
they're
before
Keeney-
that intersection?
Just past
Keeney
Keeney
Sunset?
Sunset.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
But there where it says paved prep areas for calibrated chipping, that work is all completed. Paving by the township, those roads have been completed. They're now just starting to move into Keeney development. They're gonna be working on all those roads in there, it's 3 of them. Paving by Kinsley, Potosi Road, they did the cold in place, that's completed, and that's, what that process is, when they come in with, it's basically a grinder, and they recycle it and regrind it, and they add cold tar to it, and they relay it. So that's basically to redo the base, to give it a nice level surface. So they'll be coming back, they're scheduled for about 2 weeks from now to come back, and they're going to then do this resurfacing of West Forest Avenue from the Borough line to Glen Valley Road, a section of Glen Valley, and then Potosi Road will get a full overlay of asphalt. And then the calibrated chipping, I have a list of all those streets. That work has been completed for a couple of weeks now. So it's been a busy month with roads.
Good. Sure has.
For Caprice Court, you said some work's being done on the head wall, but what about at the intersection there of the highway? That road at Caprice Court seems to be deteriorating into super
Yeah,
big,
I'm not familiar with that, but I'll check with Mike.
super big potholes and everything.
I'll check with Mike on that.
You know, it's at the foot of where the True Value was
Mhm.
on Caprice Court.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Todd on Magnolia Drive, that originally was scheduled for March, postponed it to summer due to high water? We ought to have a low water table right now.
Well, I agree. I just asked Mike about that. You know, that project's being managed by Shrewsbury Borough
Right.
because it's their sewer line. And he said that he had recently talked to Brian, and they're probably gonna be doing that closer to September. And I don't know if that has to do with their contractor, what the story is. But, yeah.
Sorry.
But it is still slated for this year.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? I noticed that, looks like they put all the, pavilion ID signs up and also the, enclosed cases for reserved,
Yes.
so I haven't got out to see those, I'll have to do that.
Yeah, and we have, I know Art noticed it, but reservations for pavilions is up a good bit this year, and we're getting, with the new pavilions, we're getting a lot more rental requests, so they're getting
And
used.
Quite a few of those seem to be, the $50 is outside the township, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them are not township
Yeah.
residents.
And I'm sorry, is that Miller Park or is that here
Miller.
as well?
But this one here, I don't know, this one gets used pretty good. Prior to us putting in the new pavilions at Miller Park, we only had the one really small one with 3 picnic tables, that was never rented. But it's interesting, it is now, for whatever reason, even though we have the large 16-table pavilions, there's one up there, I think has 6 or 7 tables. And then we actually even have people who rent the 2-table pavilion at the playground. They don't get to reserve the playground, but they can reserve the pavilion there. So,
Okay.
Well, they're being used, so.
yes, yep.
That's good.
Question well, I'm not sure if I'm jumping ahead or not.
You're jumping back, but that's okay, you can
Okay.
go back.
Well, under the code enforcements, I'm just curious, this is more of a curiosity question, 498 Oakwood Road,
Yes.
you know, they had there's a district court fine of $1,000, but now they've sold that house and closed on it, I believe. I just wondering what happens now, do we, like I said, our curiosity, do we just drop it, do we try to
No,
collect?
because the violation occurred prior to them selling or moving.
Right.
So it remains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did have settlement on July 1st. What we normally do, and the judge usually always asks this when you walk into the courtroom, if there's anything to discuss, and what she means by that, did we make an out-of-court settlement in the lobby before we came in? So in situations like that, and that's what I did do with this one, I did send a letter to the property owner, explained, what the normal process and procedure is. If you're in compliance prior to the court hearing, we usually settle for $50 or $100 plus the court costs, and then we withdraw the complaint, and it never appears in the record. So I haven't heard any response, but the letter just went out the end of last week. So, but otherwise, it's still scheduled to move forward.
Okay, anything else? We have that?
Yeah.
You have the CS Davidson, you have, I don't know if there are any questions with that. And you have in front of you a list of the representatives that form the Joint Recreation Committee between New Freedom and Shrewsbury, and they did have a meeting yesterday evening. I don't know if Jeff or Todd were both, Jeff's our member and from the board, and Todd was there, so I don't know if either of you want to comment on how the meeting went.
Basically, did election of officers and so forth, and just discussed a few things, but that was about it. Really didn't amount to a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good meeting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of discussion about things, what they want to do in the future, and the director talked about some things that they're starting to put together and so forth, but,
So I told Todd, we're always going to have to, I think, struggle a little bit to get the township share of things, because we are the much bigger share of dollars when they come up, but we can't judge
Well,
that yet. It's too
the
early.
officers elected, that we elected, voted in. Ryan Ross, he's the chairman.
Right,
John Smith is vice chair.
okay,
And then, Becky McCullough is secretary. And then treasurer is Donnie Bortner.
okay.
So
so
it's
actually
two
officers are 2 and 2.
and two, which is surprising. Just
What was
ha-
encouraging is all those individuals actually volunteered. So,
So Bortner is the treasurer,
Right,
and Becky is the secretary.
yes.
John Smith is the VP, and the president is Ryan.
And everybody actually volunteered for those positions.
So a good friendly meeting, no naysayers. Was there public there?
there was one woman there with her child. And
Girl
she ju-
Scout leader.
Okay, yeah, and she had a comment, and I thought it was a good comment. They were talking about they haven't selected a logo yet at this point. So the logo that they have underneath, it says "Come Home to Play," and she just questioned that, and I think it kind of makes a little sense. She said it sounds like it's only for Shrewsbury Township and New Freedom, because that's what's on the logo, and she just didn't think it sounded really inviting to everyone. So they're gonna take a look at that. And
At the present
maybe
time,
change
that's
that, but-
true, though.
Well, even though it's regional and we're the ones that create it, we want everyone in the region to
Right, that's true,
participate. They'll
yeah.
pay a higher,
Yeah, I agree,
yeah, the participants, in the rec commission, which is New Freedom and Shrewsbury Township, they'll get a lesser rate,
Right,
but we want everyone around to participate, so,
at a higher rate.
right,
Yeah, so, okay,
non-member rate.
okay. Well, good. Sounds like it went well.
Yeah.
Any questions from anybody on that? Next, we have fire and EMS. I guess there's an update on the chase truck, Todd.
Yeah, I think Brad covered it pretty well. This is the vehicle that they purchased. And they're working on getting it licensed by
I
the
think that's all
Pennsylvania
that's
Department of
left.
State
It's just
or
having
Health.
somebody come in and certify it, and then they're in business.
Correct, that's my understanding. They're working on getting it certified, so.
Good. Well, it's been a while coming, but it's nice to see that. Well done. We already heard from Stan, who was with us. The subdivision land development plans, questions. We have the ad hoc Committee on Short-Term Rentals and General Zoning, did we meet before the last board meeting? It was afterward,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So the 24th of June, I think it was, that group met. I think everyone was in attendance. And I think, Jeff, you can confirm too, we just basically kind of went through some general things, kind of set up, I guess, an itinerary for what needs to be done in future meetings. And I guess the first thing is to just even determine if we even want to allow short-term rentals. So that's kind of where we left it, I think. Todd, if you or Jeff
Correct.
want to add anything.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good hour and a half long meeting, just to kind of more exploratory. And between Todd and I, a lot of information was given out that's applicable for people to review on the pros and cons and things that go on with them. So we felt it would take some time to review that. So we do have another meeting scheduled this month. I forget the date, but I have it written down
Yeah,
somewhere.
I don't recall it either,
Oh.
but,
So I don't know if anybody has any questions regarding that. It's just preliminary right now. Sewer Committee, we also met.
yeah.
I think that was before the last
That was
meeting,
before the
wasn't
last,
That
right
was
before the
before the
last
last
meeting,
meeting.
same day.
it? Yeah, same day.
Hasn't been anything new to meet prior to that, so supervisors' comments, you have mine, always available for questions, and any supervisor have anything else they'd like to add?
Yeah, I worked at the bingo for Shrewsbury Carnival on the 25th, Tuesday night.
So how long is that? How long did you,
I got there around 5:30 and they quit around 10, I think, something
did
like
they?
that.
So they went good
All night
5
long?
hours or
Yeah.
so?
How many bingos did you have to call out?
I didn't call it out, I went out and collected the money. Quarter for 2 cars, they gotta sell a lot of cars to pay $1 million bill, you know.
How, was it crowded? I mean,
It was a
lot-
pretty good crowd, that really started fading off after 9 o'clock, you know.
People come and go, or they have to stay the whole time?
Like, pretty well stayed, most of them pretty well stayed.
Can they
yeah.
come in?
So
and meet?
those bingo players are committed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were committed, you know, and stayed right there with it. And then Brian Almond came down, him and his wife were working up, making french fries and
Oh,
cheesesteaks, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, pretty good cheesesteaks, yeah.
Well, thank you for going, and at least representing the township there. That's good, and seems like from what Brad said, it was pretty crowded, so hopefully they did well. Hot, I guess.
Yeah, it was warm, yeah, but it was a nice crowd all the time I was there.
What's the bingo in, and outside?
No, it's a little, sort of like a pavilion, you know, the
Pavilion.
sides were open on it, you know, and
Fans?
soft, well, I didn't have any fans going.
Yeah.
Sit there and had tables, lines of
Sit
tables,
there
rows
and
of tables,
sweat,
you know,
right?
with benches on there.
Hot?
It was a little warm in there.
Okay.
We had water.
It was pretty hot that night too, I think.
Yeah, it was a warm night.
Did the
All week.
corn kernels pop or anything?
Anybody else have anything to add?
The meeting that we have is the 22nd this month.
Okay, 22nd, thank you. And I guess everybody also got a invitation to C.S. Davidson night at the ballpark. I think you're to respond by the 15th.
I didn't know that. When is it?
You probably don't have email,
No.
but you get to go.
yeah, but
It's the end of July.
29th, I think. it is.
29th, and you're supposed to let them know if you're going by the
15th.
And I don't know if that invitation is individual or applies to family. And I looked at it, it says, how many tickets do you want? So,
yeah, I think it includes your family.
so I think it's family
So if you
oriented.
give me a phone number, I'll call them then and see if I can.
Okay, yep, I'll make a note of that.
Yeah, okay. I think it was just emails that came
Okay.
through.
Okay. I know Dave likes to go.
I do enjoy
I signed up
the
for it.
time at the ballpark, yes.
I don't know
I
if this
signed
is,
up
the-
for it.
Good.
I don't know if this is the same place. And you did too, right?
I went
yourself?
last year and it was out in the bleacher area. They have a picnic area out there. I think that's where it's held.
They said that and.
Next to the cannons.
Yeah. They said that, and they said something about I thought near the dugouts or something too. Anyway, it's described in there. So just a reminder that that's coming up. No other comments from supervisors? We will move, no old business, we'll move to new business. Did I skip some?
I don't think so. I think Penn Waste is the next thing it's up.
Yep, you're right. So we have a trash collection waiver. Todd, is standard, right? It's not been,
Yeah, it's been occupied, it's going on 3 months now. If it's only a month or two, we normally don't consider them.
Can we verify that, do you know?
That we know it's vacant,
Okay,
yeah. Cause there's some road work in that area, so,
okay.
yeah.
we have a motion.
So moved.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second that we approve the trash collection waiver for 557 Lakeside Drive. We shall vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative. We've approved the waiver.
I'll just interject for a minute.
You may.
The C.S. Davidson event is July 31st at Wellspan Park with fun, food, and friendship.
All righty.
Who could ask for more than that?
Right.
Thank you. Okay, we have the history made here. This is what we did the resolution for. But they have asked for a number of things. They've asked if we would put up boulevard banners. It's kind of difficult for us to do because we don't have but I guess one light post as you enter here. But since they wanted to know yesterday, Todd, I guess we could tell them we take 2. They want to know if we want any.
Yeah, one question I have, I sent an email, I haven't received anything back yet, is, I'm assuming it comes with all the mounting hardware.
Right, and we
everything,
can't put them on that pole without permission either, can we? That's not our pole.
I'm gonna check on that.
Okay,
That may be our poll,
Okay.
because there's, but I'll check on that, and it's relatively easy to get that
Okay.
approved, but that's a good question.
and then they wanted to know if there is one thing unique about the township that I guess they would use or publish. Todd and I talked about it, and we don't have a lot of historical features in the township, but what we were was, if not the first, one of the very first townships in York County, and existed prior to York County being even here. We were part of Lancaster County.
Correct.
And of course spawned several other boroughs that were at one
Townships.
time part of the township. So one thought was just to put a little something together in writing about that, because that is unique, unless somebody has a better idea.
Well, then we had to fight Maryland over part of it. Maryland thought they ended up in here.
Well, yeah,
They killed a sheriff's deputy, I think, over that. And then we have a Confederate Ridge around here where the Confederates were watching a railroad in the Civil War.
that's interesting.
Was that in the township?
It's on his farm.
Oh.
What's that?
Confederate Ridge.
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
It's on his farm,
Oh,
looking down over the railroad. Bunch of big rocks up there where they were looking at. They
It
were,
was a cave at one time, they say.
Yeah.
In fact, they say that's where the stone from my house came from.
You're living in history.
Well, the field up there was always called the Rebel Field.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know it.
We could
Then
sell,
we got the Seitzlin Marsh too on my property.
we could sell tickets.
Shit. Then you got the Seitzlin Marsh, which is on my property.
And what is that?
Huh?
What is that famous?
I'm just saying it's
Oh.
there, you know,
It's a swamp.
it's a swamp. That's on
It's
the.
a famous
that's on the-
swamp. How did
It's on
you
the,
didn't know?
it's on the township map.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason I even know about it, because of the township map.
It's prime critical environmental area.
You're right.
Yeah, don't try to disturb the area around it.
But the bog turtles are all gone. Because all the cattle left. Seriously.
No, but you're right.
As it relates to York County, it seems like maybe the easiest thing would be to, between Todd and I, to put something together about being the first.
The first townships, yeah.
I
Oh,
like,
we were one of the first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Springfield, Hopewell, and I think North Hopewell came out of Hopewell, but Hopewell came out of Shrewsbury Township. Springfield
like we
came
were
out of
first there,
Shrewsbury
too.
Township.
One
And then the
time we were,
boroughs and, yeah.
And New Freedom Borough came out of Shrewsbury Township.
Mm-hmm,
at one time, we were Southern York County.
yeah. South Central York County.
Oh, if everybody's okay, we'll do something there.
that's fine.
They're also asking if we want to participate in the parade. I think given 3 weeks to prepare for it, I would think we might be paraded out.
Probably, unless we're allowed to recycle that float.
But,
Well, they want it to be history related.
Oh, that's not history.
Well,
How old is Santa by now?
so if somebody has an idea and wants to proceed,
we could probably skip the parade.
yeah, they gotta know by the time. And they also wanna have a Liberty tree planted. They're gonna provide the tree, we would provide the planting, and that's not until fall or spring of next year. They want
Where
us
we
to
plant it?
identify where to put one. I think we just tell them we got plenty of places to put one.
And again, they didn't provide information. I did email them. They asked them, what the species is and
A Liberty tree.
yeah.
Right.
I've been told that they need to be watered with the blood of patriots and tyrants from time to time. but-
Refresh it with
Yeah,
water paste.
yeah, so,
So I'm
I-
assuming we can find a home for one of the parks.
And then they wanted, the availability to add things to our newsletter or website. And I think Todd can take care of giving them the information to do that. Right?
Correct, yes. Yep.
Okay.
I would imagine it's gonna go in one of the parks, right? Miller here.
Or here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was that. Unless there are any questions, that's York County's 275th birthday again. The next item is a transfer of 20 EDUs from Shrewsbury Commons to Tevet. Is that how it's
Tevitt,
pronounced?
Tevitt, I guess.
Tevitt
I don't know.
Holdings.
Where are we putting that accent?
And actually, where they're coming from is the Walmart Shopping Center.
Walmart
Shrewsbury
doesn't need 'em?
Commons Shopping Center. And they would be transferred to the corner of Mount Airy and Tawna, where they want to put in the 55-plus community.
How many are they gonna need there?
It would be for 20,
No,
Oh,
how many-
46.
The site will need 46.
46 or 40, I think it's 46.
Okay.
And they have 18, but they have a couple other ones, I forget
Getting
where.
closer.
But,
Okay.
yeah, I think they have all they're gonna need then, but,
Standard-
So,
standard
anyway,
agreement?
well, this is a little different than our normal agreement, because we are the ones that were selling them to the property owner. This is a transfer from one property owner to another. I talked to John Hankey, who's one of the co-owners of the property that's purchasing them, weeks ago, and told him that there would probably be some type of agreement, because again, as I explained to him and we talked about numerous times, we don't want extra EDUs that are out there because we don't have any, and they're much needed. We don't want available EDUs to be transferred to a property and then sit there for 10, 15 years and nothing happens to them. So basically, the only difference with this agreement, it was reworded a little bit, that, it identifies that they're being transferred from Shrewsbury Commons Limited Partnership to the Tevitt Group, and that the owner further agrees that the 20 EDUs will be used on the property within 2 years of signing this agreement. If the EDUs are not used within the 2 years, owner agrees to sell the EDUs to the township at the price at which they were purchased from Shrewsbury Commons Limited Partnership.
Okay.
And I got an email back from John Hankey today that he was fine with it.
Make a motion to approve the EDU transfer.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the EDU transfer agreement that you have in front of you. Questions? We shall vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative, so those EDUs will be transferred. We have two stormwater agreements, Todd, there's our standard.
Oh,
I just, I
Go-
have a quick question.
Go ahead.
So the agreement is approved tonight, John has to sign the agreement. What's the next step on how do we confirm anything with Shrewsbury Commons?
well, we're gonna have to do the EDU certificates. So I don't think they have all of them, is my understanding, so they're gonna need some replacements. So they'll have to work with me and we'll get the replacement certificates, and then what we do is they'll have to sign that they're releasing them to John Hankey's group, yeah.
I've given you that list from Cindy of the 20 that,
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
very good,
Sure.
thanks.
Okay?
Todd, I've got one question. The 2-year thing,
Mhm.
does that mean you have to erect a building or something within 2
Well, yeah,
years?
of course, you're gonna have to have the plan approved, but you're gonna have to be starting construction, so.
Okay.
And this is one where the plan's pretty well ready to be approved. Really, the only thing holding it up is EDUs. So I anticipate we'll probably see it before the board within, I would guess probably within the next two to 3 months. Cause I know they're anxious to get
So
started.
as long as some planning has started, then.
Right,
that-
and,
then
you
that's
know,
okay.
given 2 years and where this plan is, there should be construction started too within 2 years, and we should be seeing some activity.
Yeah.
And then at that 2-year, you know,
If there's a slight delay, he can always come back
right,
and ask for an extension.
but I feel pretty confident, that they're developers that have been doing this for a long, long time. And the
Yeah.
fact that he came back and he said he was fine with it, I wouldn't anticipate that this is gonna be something that would end up sitting.
It sounds like they still need 5 or 6 more.
I think they have them, I'd have to look at the list, but at one point they were short. I think this is all they need,
Okay.
because when they thought they were getting the 18 that had been previously transferred, they needed 2 more. Cause they had other ones that they had transferred from other properties. So I believe this will take care of what they need.
Yeah, I think that's how the number 20 came, that's what
Yeah.
they needed.
Yeah.
Do they have any more, do you think, that they,
I don't
Will
know,
sell.
I don't know.
because they had almost 50, didn't they?
No, they had.
48 or something like that?
They had a total of like 83 or something, and I believe 41 were being used.
Yeah, so it was around 40 that
Yeah.
they had. All right, we have 2 stormwater agreements, these are the standard agreement.
Correct,
We can do them both in one motion.
yes.
Make a motion to approve the stormwater management operation maintenance agreement for 16554 and 16562 Kennedy Drive.
16544, not 554.
If I made a mistake, then yes, by all means. I'm still seeing 16554
Really?
at the top.
That's what mine has.
Oh, well, I'm reading it off the
Agenda.
agenda.
Go by what's on the agreement.
My motion stands.
You got it. We have a motion,
Second.
and there was a second.
Thank you.
All in favor, we'll vote.
Aye.
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 5 votes to the affirmative, so they are approved. You have one thing in correspondence from the YMCA. Todd, I had a question. Is this something that could benefit the homeless couple we have up there at Shrewsbury Commons?
I would think so.
Yeah,
We have a homeless couple at Shrewsbury Commons.
been there for 3 months or so. In this weather, they disappeared Todd has talked to them, tried to get them some help, and,
Yeah, I provided them with a pretty lengthy list of different
It's a
services
couple
and
and,
resources, and,
what, a middle-aged son, I guess, you think?
yeah, I would guess the son's probably
40?
late 30s, right around 40 maybe, and they're probably in their early to mid-60s.
So
What are
it's a maroon SUV that sits as you would enter where the dollar store is in that corner under the shade tree there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, I don't know if this was another place they could turn
Yeah,
for help.
I could share this with
I
them.
mean, it's
certainly.
kind of kind of a shame that, and it's a nice car. And Todd said they're pretty well dressed and clean.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, you know, they're dressed nicely,
But I would say a good 3 months or more.
oh,
Maybe, probably a lot longer than
I
that.
seen today on Facebook, there was a lot of people talking about trying to get them help and everything.
Oh, really? To that couple?
Yeah, I've seen that today on Facebook.
okay.
That there's a lot of people trying to work together and find them help. I don't know where it's gonna go, but
Oh, well, that's good.
I did notice that. And I wouldn't have known what they was talking about if it hadn't been for you talking about it yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Todd went up to see him and spoke to him and gave him some ideas. They said they had gone to York and gone to Hanover and tried help from some places there, and that it was a long waiting list. But I think you gave them some additional, and I just thought, well,
Yeah, I even gave them resources for the state that are available, but.
so I just thought maybe this is another one, you know, that could help them. I don't know their circumstances, I don't know why they're homeless or, you know, what kind of help they need, but somebody like that, you'd like to try to help if you could. Is there anything else for the good of the group? If not,
Make
Motion to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
we are adjourned.